It happens every day.
It happens all the time.
Every single day.
Yeah.
Especially the end of the month, it happens even more because there's more transactions closing.
Right.
And there's certain people, they put their guard down.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
One of the elements in the contract is something you and I talked about this in the class today, is one of the things that the disclosure or disclaimer within the contract talks about wire fraud. And you, Rick, you and I talk about this all the time.
All the time.
Such an important topic. And one of the reasons we do the show, honestly, so that buyers and sellers out there know to be careful and cautious. And we don't want them afraid to do the transaction, but we want them to be careful and cautious when they do it, because it's an industry, right, Rick?
It's a very large industry. Saying that about a criminal activity, but
yeah,
I mean that's what it is. I mean, it's criminal activity that is trying to steal your money when you're sending a wire for a large purchase, and it doesn't just happen with the purchase of a home. I mean,
right.
That's a large purchase, so that's when you see it the most.
The criminals like that the best.
Exactly.
They like the big numbers.
They don't like stealing the $1,000 or the $5,000. They want the 50, the 100, the
right.
500.
Mm-hmm.
But even in cars, you're buying an expensive car and you're wiring the money, $70,000, $80,000, you might run into that. And what happens is a lot of people don't realize that it all starts with their email.
Yep.
Their personal email is probably an unhosted email. It's probably one of the free emails.
Yeah.
Not to mention that, not that they're bad, but it's one of the free email services. And what happens is over time you have thousands of emails in there from different ads and different people sending you things, and you get stuck with somebody who sent you something that's not a malicious virus, but it's something that is monitoring.
Right.
And they're in your inbox, and they're monitoring is one way, and they see keywords, and all of a sudden they insert themselves into a special email that says, oh, the wire instructions have changed, send the money here.
Yeah. And
people will follow what's in their email and they'll send it. And that's not a really good idea.
Yeah, what a red flag.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
but some people don't know because they're not listening to our show, because we talk about this all the time. Yeah.
So one of the things that can happen is, anytime that you're going to send somebody money, I mean, and I'll give you an example. Venmo does it. Okay.
Oh.
Venmo does a verification, right? If you ever send somebody money for the first time, they always ask for the last four of that person's phone number, right?
Yeah.
That's a verification.
Yep.
Well, you should be verifying if you're going to send somebody a large sum of money through a wire, because the banks don't care.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, some of the smaller credit unions do, but the large banks, they're too busy.
Yeah.
There's
they're
nothing
not there
that can be done to protect you.
Right.
So you need to protect yourself. And how you protect yourself is call the place you're sending the money to, and make sure it is their direct phone line, and verify the wiring instructions.
Yeah.
And in a home purchase, if you wired the earnest money deposit, 99.99% of the time, those wiring instructions are not going to change.
They're the same
for when you send in your
for when you close the deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that final payment. Yeah, should be the same wiring instructions as your earnest money. That's a great point.
Right. And so always verify the source of those instructions.
Right. Call the number not the number in the email, because that's a burner phone. I'm just telling you right now,
Absolutely.
That's a burner.
The other thing too is if you're receiving the wiring instructions through an unsecured method.
Yeah. Whoops.
So you just open up an attachment on an email. That's not good.
No.
Now, if there's a password with it, okay. But normally, in today's day and age, you go to a third-party portal,
right,
and the instructions are able to be downloaded.
Yep.
And they have information about the transaction that
you can verify.
That you can verify. Only you're supposed to know. So please verify the instructions. The other thing is check your email. Go into your settings in your email and make sure there's no forwarding that is set up, meaning that you're getting your email in your inbox, but it's also being forwarded to somebody else.
Yep.
Right. You can check that. They'll do that. And then
just go through your settings, look at forwarding, or it says forwarding and other stuff there, IMAP or whatever. Go into that and look and see if there's an email address, and you might be surprised. Oh shoot, there's an email address here that I don't know anything about, and they're looking at all your emails.
Yeah, 100%. And the last thing is there's a website called I've Been Pawned or Pwned. You go in there, you enter your email address in there, and it tells you how many times and what breaches that email and password have been involved in.
Send us that address.
I will.
Send us that so we can put it up on the website, because I want people to be able to get to that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Look, I say it all the time that I've had this experience happen to one of my clients. It wasn't here in Vegas. It was actually in Colorado, and I had referred them out to another client, another agent in Colorado, and then they called me in the midst of their trying to say, Harv, we're just a little uneasy. We remember you talking to us about this wire fraud thing, and we just got these crazy instructions about sending money that we're not supposed to close for another week. So we're wondering what's going on. I said, hang on, let me call everybody and find out what's going on. So I called their escrow company. I called the agent that I referred them to up there, and they both did some quick investigating and found out that it was, in fact, somebody trying to steal their money.
Yeah, and it happens every day.
It happens all the time.
Every single day. Especially the end of the month, it happens even more because there's more transactions closing.
Right.
And there's certain people, they put their guard down.
Yeah,
right? You're excited about buying a house. You're excited about getting in. I'm going to get in the house. And all of a sudden, you let your guard down. You didn't verify.
So here's what happens, guys, is that, first of all, let's all make the assumption that there's somebody bad watching our email. Just, I don't care if there's a forwarding thing in there or not, just assume it. Just assume that there's a bad guy somewhere in a basement in Pittsburgh.
Watching the Steelers game.
And he's watching your email, waiting for the certain words. Now, he's not physically going through what he's doing. He's employed a program, either an AI or something, to look for certain keywords in your emails. One of them being home purchase or car purchase or major purchase or big dollar numbers, something like that. And once he sees it, boom! Oh, here's a guy who's buying a home. Boom! Let's start watching his emails closely. Let's mimic the escrow company. Let's build it and make it look just like theirs. Let's send it to him and give him wiring instructions so he sends it to our account, here in Indonesia or wherever the heck it's going to go, so that they'll never get it back.
Right.
That's how it happens.
That's exactly how it happens.
And so I want everyone out there to assume that's the case. So when you get any kind of wiring instructions, call the person you know, not the number in the email, and verify it. And then you won't be subject to losing all your money.
Right. And again, the other key to that too is you should be receiving those wiring instructions through a third-party portal.
Right.
You should not be getting them through email.
Right. And I talked about this in the class today, but I tell agents, don't ever let escrow copy you on wiring instructions.
Never.
I don't want them our broker insists on it, and we stopped doing this a long time ago. I do not want to be copied on wiring instructions, because if they're watching my email, and if you're a bad guy, whose email do you want to watch? You want to watch a realtor.
Yeah.
Because I'm dealing with home sales all the time.
Right. You want to watch the realtor's email till you know who the buyer is,
right.
And you want to jump in the buyer's email if you can.
Absolutely. Why not? I mean, now you know. And so now you can jump in there and start sending them stuff. And so before they know it, you've sent them 7 emails. They think you're the escrow company, and they think you're sending them wires. So make the call. Always make that call. So critical. And also, whenever possible, do everything in person. I mean, let's just not even mess with that. I mean, if you can do it, drive over to the escrow company and get the wiring instructions in person. Get them when you're signing, as opposed to through an email, if you can do that, if you can avoid it. Anyway, it's hard to avoid these days, though.
It is. Well, I mean, at the signing, you're going to give you a hard copy of the wiring instructions.
There it is. And if it doesn't match,
I mean, so if you want to wait, get your hard copy, take it to the bank.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if I'm in the midst of a transaction, that's all I'm doing. I'm not going to do it off wiring instructions through an email. Certainly, unless it's a third party, unless I can see it's encrypted, unless I can see something I recognize that I know, and I'm still going to make that phone call. Hey, Rick, is this you guys or not? And you're going to say, yep, that's us. We're good. Okay, and then we're going to send the money.
Exactly.
Otherwise, don't do it, guys. It's just not. It's the biggest purchase you're making in your lifetime, and it's the most amount of money you're sending probably in your lifetime.
And it's the hardest thing to unravel if that money goes to a bad person.
If it's in another country and a bad person's got it, I got bad news.
I mean, we recovered some before, and it took up to like 90 days. So the buyer was out for 90 days.
Wow. Outrageous. Unbelievable.